For more, we can bring in France 24's business journalist, Bryan Quinn. Bryan, talk us through these latest figures out of the US and what exactly they mean.
Well, Eve, it was a record rebound for American retail spending in May, up 17.7% from April's figures. That is more than double what economists had been projecting. New car sales were up 44%. Electronics and appliance sales up over 50%. Clothing stores saw their receipts jump 188%. So some pretty impressive numbers there. Now, the jump has not made up for all of American retail's lockdown losses. May's spending is still down 6% compared to last year. Consumer spending accounts for more than 2/3 of the U.S. economy, and economists, in fact, are projecting second quarter results for the overall economy to be down as much as 37% compared to 2019. Still, the overall outlook for the U.S. economy is beginning to improve for plenty of analysts. We saw the unemployment rate fall to 13.3% last month after employers added an unexpected 2.5 million jobs. By no means out of the woods, though. Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell warned yesterday that any recovery is likely to be very fragile, stressing that 25 million Americans remain out of work due to the virus. Now, the Fed has predicted the U.S. economy is going to shrink by around 6.5% this year, and that is not including effects of a potential second wave of the virus. The International Monetary Fund, meanwhile, says the global economy is set for its worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. The IMF is getting set to slash its economic outlook for 2020, so not breaking out the champagne quite yet.
Meanwhile, Bryan, in other business news, an American electric utility has pleaded guilty in the deadliest corporate crime ever successfully prosecuted in the US. Tell us more about that.
Well, Eve, California utility company Pacific Gas and Electric has admitted that the 2018 wildfire known as the Camp Fire was caused by its failure to properly maintain its equipment. CEO Bill Johnson pleaded guilty to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter on behalf of the company. PG&E is going to have to pay a maximum fine of $3.5 million, along with the $500,000 cost of the investigation. A number of survivors are calling that a slap on the wrist for PG&E, considering its negligence was responsible for the deadliest and most destructive fire in California history. 10,000 homes were burned down. There have, though, of course, been civil claims as well. PG&E has agreed to settle claims from insurers and local governments for over $25 billion. $13.5 billion of that goes to fire victims. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2019, in part to protect itself from liability. A $59 billion reorganization plan is set to be approved by courts in the coming days. That will leave the company out of bankruptcy, but heavily in debt. There's been a significant push lately by lawmakers and activists to take over PG&E as a publicly owned cooperative instead of an investor-owned company. There's plenty of public anger still out there, especially considering that the company says it's going to need to rely on intermittent blackouts for up to 10 years in order to upgrade its system to prevent more fires like the Camp Fire. So we'll see what happens going forward with PG&E.
Okay, Bryan, for now, thanks indeed, Bryan Quinn, with our business news there.